Thank you, Herman. Really appreciate it. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our first chat for today's program. This is Pocket Sun, who's a partner at SoGal Ventures. And she's going to be interviewed by Ying-Ying Lu of Silicon Dragon. Ying-Ying has been working with me over the past year as a contributor. So please, Pocket, and Ying-Ying, why don't you come up here and take a seat? I should mention that Pocket is one of the winners of the Forbes Asia in the finance and venture capital scene. And I first met her at Silicon Beach last May, I think. And she impressed me. And this one thing led to another.
All right. Hi, Pocket.
Is this good seating for them? Or it looks like it. Is it
fine
seating?
Can you guys see us okay?
Yeah?
Okay.
All right, good.
And here okay too, in the back. Awesome. Hi everyone, I'm so happy to be here. I flew in from San Francisco with Rebecca actually, and met Pocket around the same time last year. So we nominated Pocket for the Forbes Asia 30 Under 30 list,
Thank
and
you.
as many of you guys know, she graced the cover. And she was chosen from a pool of a lot of nominees from across Asia. And one of the criteria actually for picking winners, as told to us by the edit board, is the potential for the young entrepreneur investor to disrupt their industry. So with that in mind, I want to go ahead and ask Pocket, what exactly are you disrupting and why?
So we're starting a venture capital firm called SoGal Ventures, and we're the first millennial venture capital fund led by women. So the idea started about several months ago when my partner and I met at Stanford in a VC program. And we decided to lead by example and be the change we want to see, which is bring more fresh perspectives and diversity into venture capital.
All right, and you've cited before that something like 5 or 6% of decision makers in VC are women. Right?
Yeah, so there are pretty, terrible statistics in VC right now. For example, between 2011 and 2013, only 2.7% of venture capital money went to female CEOs. That's a really, really small percentage. And also, only 6% of the decision makers in venture capital firms are women. And 77% of venture capital firms never hired a woman as a decision maker. So I see venture capital as a way that, as investors, we shape where the world is going, where the technology advances is going, and where innovations are taking us. So if men are making 94% of the decisions, where's the place for women? And I just think needs to be some changes to that.
All right, so actually your story is, or what you're doing is relatively new, in the sense that SoGal only started in 2014 when you were a grad student at USC, right? Yeah. So tell me about that. It's been a crazy 2 years. How have you already grown this network to 4,000 people around the world?
Yeah, it all started because I couldn't find my place because I was really interested in entrepreneurship, but everywhere I went, it's, very male dominated, and I was like, where did all the other young women go? Are they missing all the fun in startups and technology? So I wanted to create a safe space for them to come together and at least learn about entrepreneurship and create the mindset which I found to be really transforming for a young person's life.
You've been featured a lot in media in the last year, or last few months especially. Not only Forbes, but other publications and across the blogosphere. What are some of the misperceptions that you think journalists or this community has of you?
So SoGal Ventures is a startup, and our product is a fund. So right now we're testing the MVP for our Fund 1, and we've made significant progress. So in the past 6 months, we've invested in 16 different deals, and these companies are from all over the place, from New York City, from Silicon Valley, Boulder, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Singapore and China. So we're testing, a brand new way to do venture capital, cross-border, global perspectives and all that. So it's been a very interesting journey. We've been seen a lot on digital media, and it's all organic. We never paid like a single dollar for public relations. And millennial startup founders are really attracted to us because there's no one else in the market doing what we do. So we really want to be the sidekicks for our companies. We want to put them in the spotlight as much as we could. And we're their biggest fans, and we tell everyone about them. And this is working. So yeah, so the digital media publicity does bring us a significant amount of deal flow.
That's really cool. What are some of the challenges you faced, especially early on?
Well, it's really hard, I can't lie. So we call ourselves a startup, but starting a fund is much harder than starting a startup because people are generally okay with first-time founders in their early 20s, but not so much with first-time fund managers when they're young. So if your startup fails, you learn a bunch, you can start again and call yourself a serial entrepreneur. But if our fund fails, there might be a fund 2, but there will not be a fund 3, and no LPs will believe in us ever. So yeah, it's a lot of pressure. And last year, this time, I couldn't even believe that I could get into a venture capital firm, and a year later, I'm starting my own firm. So it's definitely an extremely sharp learning curve.
Tell me about some of the investments that you've made, so maybe 1 to 2 of the most exciting companies.
Yeah, so for example, Guava Pass. This morning, I used Guava Pass to go to a fitness class here. So it's a fitness subscription service where you pay a monthly fee and you can go to pretty much all the premium fitness studios in town. So I live in Singapore, but I can also use the travel feature. So I just changed my location to Hong Kong and I can go to all these different studios when I travel. So I think it really changed my quality of life. It makes it so much better, and it's just a new way for the young generation to experience fitness and wellness.
It sounds like ClassPass in San Francisco.
Yes, and ClassPass has been doing really great. In the beginning, I thought, oh, Guava Pass is just like ClassPass, but I really, really love the team. I love where this is going, and in just a few months, they've expanded to 8 cities in Asia and the Middle East, so yeah, I really, really like them.
So final topic, talk a little bit about the cross-border aspect with China, the rest of the world. You went to school in the US, both undergrad and grad school.
Yes. So I think venture capital, we invest in innovations and disruptions, but I think the industry itself also requires innovations. We've been evolving too slowly, and I think venture capital itself needs more diversity. It needs more fresh perspectives. So for example, the old VC requires you to live and work near your portfolio companies, but nowadays with technology, you can really be investing from anywhere and still be effective, especially with our SoGal global network. So I talk to founders from all over the world on a daily basis, and my friends in California don't even realize that I'm already located in Singapore. So I think, and also being cross-border, my partner and I have a 12-hour time difference, and that allows us to be of service to our entrepreneurs 24/7. We're like a nonstop power machine that just keeps running.
All right, Pocket, if there is one message that you could deliver to this audience, keeping in mind that not everyone is a millennial and there's plenty of men here, what would you want to say?
I would say that venture capital is still a young industry, and the industry hasn't changed its methodology since 40 years ago. So I think every one of us should keep thinking how we can do it better, because there's no rule that's set in stone just yet, right? And there might be something that we've always done wrong, but we just haven't figured it out. For example, people always say that 8, maybe 9 out of your 10 portfolio companies would fail, but maybe it doesn't have to be that way. Maybe there's a better way to do it. So we're on a journey to find out, and I encourage and challenge everyone here to continue to think about how we can disrupt ourselves.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.